Millionaire runs over poor girl's bike. When he saw her necklace, he froze. Before we start this amazing journey, drop a comment below and let us know what city you're watching from. The morning sun glinted off the skyscrapers of Manhattan as Robert Sullivan gripped the leather steering wheel of his Maserati, weaving through traffic. At 32, he commanded boardrooms and closed million-dollar deals before breakfast. Today was no different. Chinese investors waited at the Plaza Hotel, and punctuality meant everything in his world. Meanwhile, 9-year-old Madison Harper carefully arranged candy bars in the worn basket of her rusty bicycle. Same corner, same routine since Mom died 6 months ago. The intersection of 5th Avenue and 42nd Street buzzed with morning commuters, perfect for selling sweets to guilty parents rushing to work. Robert's phone buzzed. "Where are you?" his assistant demanded. "The Beijing group arrived early." 5 minutes, Robert snapped, accelerating through a yellow light. Madison positioned her bike near the crosswalk, adjusting the small cardboard sign. "Candy $1, help me go to school." She touched the emerald necklace hidden beneath her worn sweater, Mom's last gift, her only treasure. The light turned red. Robert's Maserati screeched around the corner, tires seeking grip on the slick pavement. His side mirror clipped a coffee cart. Overcorrecting, the car's rear end swung wide. Crunch. The sickening sound of metal crushing metal. Madison's bicycle disappeared beneath the Maserati's wheel, candy bars exploding across the asphalt like colorful confetti. The girl stood frozen, watching her only source of income crumple into twisted wreckage. Then the tears came. Not from pain, but from devastating loss. That bike fed her, paid for her school supplies, kept the lights on in their tiny apartment. Robert emerged from his car, designer suit immaculate, irritation flashing across his chiseled features. Another delay. Another problem to throw money at. "Look, kid, I'll pay for the words died in his throat. The morning sun caught something green at Madison's neck. The emerald necklace had slipped from beneath her sweater during the commotion. That specific shade of green. That distinctive silver setting with tiny roses etched around the stone. Time stopped. 15 years collapsed into a single moment. Robert saw himself at 17, clasping that exact necklace around Rosa Martinez's neck. Rosa, who had raised him when his parents were too busy building empires. Rosa, who had vanished without explanation a week later. "Where?" Robert's voice caught. "Where did you get that necklace?" Madison wiped her tears with dirty hands. "It was my mom's. She said someone special gave it to her, said I should never lose it." Robert knelt beside the destroyed bicycle, no longer seeing the twisted metal. He saw Rosa's kind eyes, her gentle smile, the way she had cried when he gave her the necklace, saying no one had ever given her anything so beautiful. "What was your mother's name?" The question came out as a whisper. "Grace Harper." "But..." Madison hesitated. "Sometimes I heard her crying at night. She'd whisper another name in her sleep. Rosa." The city noise faded. The waiting investors ceased to matter. Robert stared at this small girl with tangled hair and patched clothes, wearing a fortune around her neck. The emerald necklace he'd bought with his first stock market earnings. The one he'd given to the only person who'd ever truly loved him. His phone rang insistently. He didn't answer. Something far more important than any business deal had just crashed into his perfectly ordered world. Madison watched this rich stranger kneel among scattered candy bars, his expression cycling through shock, recognition, and something else, something that looked like grief. "Mister?" she said softly. "Are you okay?" Robert looked up, seeing Rosa's eyes in Madison's face, the shape of her chin, the way she tilted her head with concern. "What's your last name again?" he asked, though he'd heard it clearly. "Harper, Madison Harper." But Robert was already pulling out his phone, not to call his office, but to dial a number he hadn't used in years. His private investigator. "James." "It's Robert Sullivan. I need you to find everything about a woman named Grace Harper." And James, this is priority one. Drop everything else. As Madison gathered her scattered candy, the emerald necklace swung freely, catching the light like a beacon. Neither she nor Robert could know that this moment, this collision of past and present, would unravel secrets buried for 15 years and shake the very foundations of the Sullivan Empire. In the distance, a black sedan pulled to the curb. Someone was watching. Someone who recognized that necklace too. The game had begun. The mahogany grandfather clock in Robert's corner office struck midnight. Papers scattered across his desk told a story he couldn't comprehend. James Chen, his private investigator, sat across from him, face grave. Grace Harper died 6 months ago, James said, sliding a folder forward. Lung cancer. But here's where it gets interesting. Robert opened the file. Grace Harper's driver's license photo stared back, but he saw Rosa Martinez in every feature. Older, worn down by hardship, but unmistakably her. No official records exist for Grace Harper before 2010, James continued. Like she appeared from thin air, birth certificate, Social Security, all issued that year. Rosa disappeared in 2009, Robert whispered. There's more. I tracked down the hospital where Madison was born. No father listed, but the birth was paid for by Sullivan Enterprises, through a subsidiary. Robert's blood chilled. His father's company. Why would my father pay for... He stopped, pieces clicking together like a horrific puzzle. His phone buzzed. Eleanor Sullivan, his mother. Darling, your father mentioned you missed the Beijing meeting. That's not like you. Are you all right? Mom, do you remember Rosa Martinez? Silence. Then carefully. Our housekeeper. She left years ago. Why do you ask? Did Dad have anything to do with her leaving? Robert, what is this about? Just answer me, please. Eleanor's voice dropped to a whisper. Your father said she stole from us. Jewelry. He handled it quietly to avoid scandal. The emerald necklace, the one Robert had given Rosa, his father had known. Mom, I need to see you. Not at the house, somewhere private. After hanging up, Robert turned to James. Find out everything about William Sullivan's connection to Grace. Harper. Financial records, communications, everything. That won't be easy. Your father's very careful. I don't care. That little girl today, Madison, I think she's connected to our family. James raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Robert walked to his window, Manhattan glittering below. Memories flooded back. Rosa teaching him to tie his shoes, making his favorite soup when he was sick, the only warmth in that cold mansion. His secure line rang. Unknown number. Mr. Sullivan? A gravelly voice. You've been asking questions about Grace Harper. Who is this? Someone who knew her. Meet me tomorrow. Midnight. Greenwood Cemetery. Come alone, or the truth dies with me. The line went dead. Robert's mind raced. In his wall safe sat a duplicate of the emerald necklace. He'd bought two, keeping one as a reminder of Rosa. He retrieved it now, comparing it to the photo of Madison wearing hers. Identical. His desk phone rang. Building security. Mr. Sullivan? There's a situation in the parking garage. Your car's been vandalized. Robert rushed downstairs. His Maserati's windshield bore a simple message in red paint. Stop digging. Back in his office, Robert found James studying financial records on his laptop. Your father made large cash transfers to an offshore account monthly for the past 15 years. They stopped 6 months ago. When Grace died. Exactly, Robert, I've seen this pattern before. This looks like hush money, or blackmail payments. Robert's secure email chimed. One new message, no sender. She never stopped loving you. She named her daughter after the Madison Avenue subway stop where you used to meet her in secret. Stop now, or Madison pays for your curiosity. Attached was a photo. Madison at school today, unaware of the photographer. Robert's hand trembled as he speed-dialed his security team. I need protection detail on a 9-year-old girl. Madison Harper. Priority 1. Use the ghost protocol. Invisible coverage. Sir, that's reserved for family members only. She is family, Robert snapped, surprising himself with the certainty in his voice. As night deepened, Robert stared at Rosa's photo. 15 years of lies were unraveling. His father's empire cast shadows darker than he'd ever imagined. Tomorrow, he would meet his mysterious contact. Tomorrow, he would confront his father. But tonight, he sat vigil over surveillance feeds, showing Madison's apartment where she slept clutching a teddy bear, the emerald necklace glowing softly in the moonlight. Rosa's daughter. But whose daughter was she really? The answer to that question would shake the Sullivan dynasty to its foundations. William Sullivan's corner office occupied the entire top floor of Sullivan Tower. At 3 a.m., Robert stood before his father's private vault, fingers trembling over the keypad. The code hadn't changed since his childhood. Eleanor's birthday. The steel door clicked open. Inside, neat rows of files filled mahogany shelves. Robert's flashlight swept across labels. Mumbai Project. Senator Reeves. Volkov Agreement. His breath caught on a single red folder. Martinez Situation. Confidential. The file weight felt damning in his hands. Inside, horror unfolded. Page by page. A contract dated April 2009. Termination and relocation agreement, Rosa Martinez. Terms included $2 million payment, mandatory identity change, and a chilling clause. Should subject violate terms, secondary protocols will be initiated. Behind it, medical records from a private clinic. Pregnancy confirmation. Paternity test results. The father's name blacked out with marker, but the letterhead belonged to Dr. Marcus Webb, the Sullivan family physician. Robert's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You found it. Now look deeper. Third drawer. From bottom. M. The drawer contained a single USB drive labeled Insurance. Robert plugged it into his laptop. Video file. His father's office, date stamp from 2009. William faced the camera, Rosa sitting across from him, visibly pregnant. You understand the terms? William's voice, cold as winter steel. Yes, Mr. Sullivan. Rosa's accent, her gentle voice bringing tears to Robert's eyes. The child can never know. You'll take the money, disappear, and if you ever contact my family again. I understand. But Robert, can I at least say goodbye? Robert is no longer your concern. Sign the papers. The video jumped. New timestamp 1 week later. Rosa crying, holding the emerald necklace. I'm keeping this, she told William defiantly. It's all I have left of. Fine, but remember our agreement. The screen went black. Next file, surveillance photos of Rosa, now Grace Harper, in Chicago, Seattle, finally New York. Always watching, always tracked. Robert's hands shook as he opened the final folder. A DNA report, uncensored. The father's name burned into his retinas. William Sullivan. Madison was his sister. His father's illegitimate daughter with the woman who'd raised him. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Security's routine patrol. Robert quickly photographed crucial documents, replaced everything, and slipped out through the executive stairwell in Traus. His car he called James Chen. Meeting's off tonight. I found something worse. What? Madison Harper is my sister. My father. He and Rosa. Silence. Then, Robert, there's something else. That meeting tomorrow at the cemetery. I ran the voice through analysis. It matched someone in the Sullivan Enterprises database. Who? Dr. Marcus Webb, your family doctor. Robert's mind reeled. Webb knew everything. Had helped cover it up. His phone rang. Eleanor. Mom? Robert, don't come home. Your father knows you were in his office. He's not himself. Mom? I know about Rosa. About Madison. A sharp intake of breath. How could I have been so blind? Eleanor whispered. I'm leaving him, Robert, tonight. Where will you go? To the one person who needs us most. I'm going to protect that little girl. As dawn approached, Robert felt the weight of truth crushing down. But beneath the betrayal, a fierce protectiveness rose. Madison, his sister, would never suffer for their father's sins. The real war was just beginning. Dr. Marcus Webb's hands shook as he poured bourbon in his dimly lit study. 30 years of keeping Sullivan's secrets had finally caught up. Robert sat across from him, the stolen medical files spread between them like evidence of war crimes. She begged me not to tell, Webb began, his voice barely audible. Rosa knew William would destroy her if he found out. Found out what? Robert leaned forward, though he already knew. That she was pregnant with his child. Their affair lasted 3 months. When William learned about the pregnancy, Webb drained his glass. He gave her 2 choices: disappear forever or face immigration charges he'd fabricate. Her undocumented status made her vulnerable. So you falsified documents. I created an entire medical history for Grace Harper. Birth certificates, immunization, records. William paid me well for my silence. And the DNA test? Webb's face crumpled. I never ran it. William demanded results showing negative paternity. I complied, but I kept the real samples. Insurance, you might say. Where are they? Safety deposit box, First National, box 472. Webb slid a key across the table. Madison isn't just your father's daughter, Robert. She's your full sister. Your mother, Eleanor, can't have children. You were adopted as an infant. The room spun. Robert gripped the table. What? William needed an heir. He arranged a private adoption, created a perfect story. Your biological mother died in childbirth. Father unknown. But Rosa, she discovered the truth in old documents. That's why William started the affair. To keep her quiet. Instead, it gave him Madison. Robert's phone buzzed. Security footage from Madison's apartment showed black SUVs surrounding the building. They're moving on her, Robert breathed, standing abruptly. Webb grabbed his arm. There's more. Your mother Eleanor knows. Has always known. She's been protecting you both from the shadows. Racing through Manhattan streets, Robert called his security team. No answer. Called Eleanor. Straight to voicemail. He reached Madison's building as men in suits emerged, carrying a struggling child. Madison's terrified eyes met his through the SUV's window. The emerald necklace glinted at her throat. Madison! Robert shouted, but the vehicles roared away. His phone rang. William. Missing something, son? His father's voice dripped with false concern. If you hurt her. Hurt my own daughter? I'm merely relocating her to a proper boarding school in Switzerland. She leaves tonight. You can't. I can. I'm her biological father. You're just the adopted son who's forgotten his place. I know everything, Dad. The affairs, the cover-ups, the Volkov connection. Silence. Then, be at the house in 1 hour, alone. We'll discuss Madison's future and yours. Robert's next call was to Victoria Sterling, his lawyer fiancée. I need emergency custody papers drawn up, tonight. For whom? My sister. And Victoria? Bring your father. Judge Sterling owes my family favors. Time to collect. At Webb's office, Robert pocketed the safety deposit key. The doctor handed him one more item, a sealed envelope. Rosa left this, made me promise to give it to you if anything happened to her. She knew this day would come. Inside Rosa's handwriting. My dearest Robert, if you're reading this, you've discovered the truth. Protect Madison. She's the only pure thing in this web of lies. The emerald necklace opens more than memories. Check the setting. Your loving Rosa. Time was running out. Madison was somewhere in the city, about to disappear forever. Eleanor was missing. and Robert was walking into his father's trap. But he had something William didn't expect: the truth, and the will to use it. The endgame approached. The Sullivan mansion loomed against the storm-dark sky like a tombstone. Robert entered through the servants' entrance, the door Rosa had used for 20 years. Inside, William waited in his study, flanked by two men Robert didn't recognize. "Son," William smiled coldly, "meet my associates, Dmitri and Alexei Volkov, the Russian brothers." Robert's blood chilled. His investigation had uncovered Sullivan Enterprises' money laundering for their crime syndicate, but seeing them here, in his childhood home. "Where's Madison?" "Safe. For now." William poured cognac. "You've been busy, breaking into my office, questioning Webb, stirring up the past you buried with threats, with murder." William's eyes flashed. "Careful, boy. Daniel Martinez, Rosa's brother. The investigative journalist who died in that convenient car accident. You had him killed when he got too close." Dmitri Volkov chuckled darkly. "Your father protects his interests, as do we." Robert's phone vibrated, a text from Eleanor. "Madison safe. With me. Go to Plan B." Relief flooded through him. His mother had somehow intercepted Madison. "Funny thing about DNA evidence," Robert said, pulling out the real test results Webb had hidden. "It leaves trails, like the fact that Madison and I share the same mother, Eleanor Sullivan." William's face paled. "Impossible." "The adoption papers you forged for me." Webb kept copies. "The fertility treatments Eleanor supposedly failed. She never took them, because she was already pregnant. With me, and 15 years later with Madison." "You're lying. The samples are in FBI custody as of an hour ago, along with records of every dirty deal, every bribe, every murder you ordered." Alexei Volkov stood, reaching inside his jacket. Robert raised his hand. "Buildings surrounded. Federal agents. Your kingdom's over, Dad." William's hand trembled around his glass. "Eleanor. She couldn't. She could. She did. Played the grieving wife perfectly while documenting everything. 30 years of evidence." Sirens wailed outside. Red and blue lights flashed through windows. "You destroyed everything," Robert continued. "Killed Rosa when she threatened to expose Madison's real parentage. Convinced Mom her own daughter died, at birth. Built an empire on blood and lies." The door burst open. FBI agents flooded in, weapons drawn. "William Sullivan, you're under arrest for racketeering, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit murder." As agents cuffed his father, William's eyes met Robert's. "You've killed us all. The Volkovs don't forgive." "The Volkovs are already in custody," Agent Sarah Mitchell announced. "Your wife's testimony sealed their fate." They led William away, Dmitri and Alexei following in separate cars. The study fell silent except for the grandfather clock's ticking. Robert's phone rang. "Eleanor, it's done?" "It's done, Mom. Madison's asking for you. She's scared but safe. We're at the plaza, the Emerald Suite." "How fitting." "Robert, I'm sorry. For everything, for the lies. For letting you grow up in that house of shadows. We'll talk soon. Right now, I have a sister to meet." Properly, this time. As Robert left the mansion, he touched the doorframe where Rosa had carved a tiny R years ago. Their secret sign that meant courage. The storm broke outside, washing the city clean. The Sullivan Empire would crumble, but from its ashes, something honest would rise. A real family built on truth instead of lies. The Plaza Hotel's Emerald Suite felt like sanctuary. Madison sat curled on a velvet sofa, clutching the teddy bear, while Eleanor poured tea with shaking hands. When Robert entered, the girl's eyes, so like Rosa's, filled with recognition. "You're the man with the fancy car," she whispered. "I'm your brother," Robert said gently. Madison touched her necklace. "Mom said I might have a brother someday. She said he gave her this." Eleanor set down the teapot, tears flowing freely. "I should have fought harder. When William told me our second, Child died. I was so medicated, so broken from losing the first baby. First baby? Robert frowned. You had a twin. A boy. Stillborn. Or so William claimed. After that trauma, when Madison came, she touched her daughter's hair. He convinced me she died too. Showed me death certificates. I believed him. Robert's mind raced. Twin? Another lie? His phone buzzed. Dr. Webb. We need to talk. William had 3 children with Eleanor, not 2. Before Robert could process this, the suite door exploded inward. A man in tactical gear rushed in. Not FBI, not NYPD. Private military. Mr. Sullivan sends his regards, the man growled. Weapon trained on Madison. Time slowed. Robert lunged forward as the gun swung toward his sister. Eleanor screamed. The emerald necklace caught the light as Madison raised her small hands in defense. Crash. The window shattered. A figure in black rappelled through, taking down the gunman with precise efficiency. The attacker rolled, stood, and pulled off the ski mask. Robert gasped. The face looking back was his own, identical in every detail. Hello, brother, the stranger said. Eleanor fainted. Madison pressed against Robert, trembling. The twin, for what else could he be, secured the unconscious attacker with zip ties. My name is Alexander, he explained quickly. Alexander Reeves, the boy William sold to a Black Ops program 32 years ago, his firstborn. The twin he declared dead. That's impossible, Robert breathed. Our father traded me for government contracts, raised me in shadows, trained me to be his ultimate asset, but I broke free years ago. I've been watching, waiting. Sirens wailed outside. Alexander moved to the window. Webb knows the truth. William didn't just launder money for criminals. He sold children to government programs, experimented with twins, nature versus nurture. Madison was meant to be the next test subject. Over my dead body, Robert growled. Exactly what William planned. Alexander pulled out a flash drive. Every sick detail is here. Project Gemini, twin studies, behavioral modification. He's not just a criminal. He's a monster. Madison tugged Robert's sleeve. Are there more of us? More brothers and sisters? Alexander's face softened. Not anymore, little one. We're all that's left. The 3 Sullivan children. Eleanor stirred, looking at her sons, identical faces separated by a lifetime of lies. My boys, she whispered. Both my boys. FBI agents burst in, weapons drawn. Agent Mitchell surveyed the scene, eyes widening at the twins. We've got a problem, she announced. William Sullivan escaped custody. Professional extraction team. He's in the wind. Alexander smiled grimly. Not for long. He'll come for his research. For Madison. For his legacy. Then we'll be ready, Robert said, surprising himself with the steel in his voice. The 3 siblings stood together, the heir, the weapon, and the innocent, united against the monster who'd created them. All outside, thunder rolled across Manhattan. The real storm was just beginning. FBI Safe House, Brooklyn, 3:47 a.m. Madison slept fitfully between her brothers on the reinforced couch. Robert studied Alexander's flash drive contents while his twin cleaned weapons with mechanical precision. He kept detailed notes, Robert muttered. Sickened. Psychological profiles, behavioral predictions. He knew exactly how we'd react to finding each other. William Sullivan doesn't make moves without calculating 20 steps ahead, Alexander replied. He let himself get arrested. This is all part of something bigger. Agent Mitchell entered, face grim. We found Judge Sterling dead. Apparent suicide. Note confesses to destroying evidence for Sullivan for decades. Victoria's father. Robert's chest tightened thinking of his fiancée. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Robert. Daddy says hi. Victoria's voice, but cold. Wrong. Victoria. Where are you? With family. My real family. Did you think your father was the only one with contingency plans? The Sterlings have served the Sullivans for generations. Time to collect. The line went dead. Robert stared at the phone, world tilting again. Eleanor entered, pale but determined. I've been remembering things. Hidden accounts, properties off, the books, places William might run. He won't run, Alexander said quietly. He'll attack. Madison is the key to his research. The perfect subject. Young, trauma-bonded, carrying Rosa's genetics. Rosa's genetics. Robert frowned. You didn't dig deep enough. Alexander pulled up classified files. Rosa Martinez wasn't just undocumented. She was descended from a specific bloodline. Subjects who showed unusual psychological resilience. Perfect for the programs. Madison stirred, eyes fluttering open. I had the dream again about the White Room, the tests. Everyone froze. What tests, sweetheart? Eleanor asked gently. Before Mommy died, men came, gave me medicine, showed me cards, asked strange questions. Mommy fought them. That's when she got sick. Robert's fists clenched. He was already experimenting on her. Alexander nodded grimly. The cancer wasn't natural. Targeted biological agent, slow-acting, punishment for Rosa's defiance. Madison touched her necklace. Mommy said this would protect me. Said there were secrets inside. Robert remembered Rosa's letter. The emerald necklace opens more than memories. Check the setting. He gently examined the necklace. The emerald setting clicked, revealing a tiny compartment. Inside, a micro SD card. Rosa, he breathed. You brilliant, brave woman. The card contained video files. Rosa, gaunt from cancer, recording in secret. If someone finds this, protect my daughter. William Sullivan killed me, but I won't let him have Madison. I've documented everything. The experiments, the other children, the facility in Vermont, Mountain Research Institute, GPS coordinates attached. More footage. Hidden cameras in clinical settings. Children in white rooms. Tests. Injections. William observing through one-way glass. Dear God, Mitchell whispered. Alexander stood. We go to Vermont, tonight. End this. It's a trap, Robert warned. Everything's a trap. Question is, whose? Suddenly the lights cut out. Emergency red lighting kicked in. Mitchell's radio crackled. Perimeter breach. Multiple hostiles. Military grade. Alexander moved like liquid shadow. Scooping up Madison. Safe room. Now. Explosions rocked the building. Smoke grenades shattered windows. Through the chaos, a voice on loudspeakers. Return the girl. You have 60 seconds. William Sullivan had come for his daughter. The real battle was about to begin. The Boer. Safe house burned. Tactical teams swarmed through smoke as the Sullivan family fled through underground tunnels. Alexander led, Madison clinging to his back. Robert supported Eleanor while Mitchell coordinated their escape. Exit compromised, Mitchell shouted over gunfire. Team 3, report. Static. They're jamming us. Alexander stopped at a junction. Williams using black budget tech, my old, unit signatures. Robert checked his phone. Dead. How do we? Mommy taught me, Madison whispered. She touched specific spots on the tunnel wall. Count the bricks, 3rd row, 7th brick, push twice. A hidden panel opened. Fresh air rushed in. Rosa knew these tunnels? Eleanor gasped. She knew everything, Madison said simply. She said someone would come for me someday. They emerged. In a parking garage. Alexander hotwired a van while sirens wailed across Brooklyn. As they sped toward the highway, Robert studied his twin. You knew this would happen. I've been watching William for years. This rescue? Too easy. He wanted us together. Why? Complete the collection. All 3 subjects in one controlled environment, the ultimate experiment. Madison suddenly convulsed. It hurts, she whimpered, clutching her head. Eleanor cradled her daughter. What's wrong, baby? The voices. They're getting louder. Alexander cursed. Neural implant, activated remotely, part of the program. Get it out, Robert demanded. Can't. Not without killing her, but I can jam the signal. Alexander pulled out a device, adjusted frequencies. Madison's breathing eased. Temporary fix. We need the Vermont facility. Their surgical suite. Mitchell's radio crackled back to life. Compromised. Senator involved. Trust no one. Then William's voice, somehow broadcast through their van speakers. Impressive, Alexander. You've learned well. But you can't protect her forever. The programming is already active. Madison's eyes went blank. When she spoke, her voice was different. Older. Cold. Protocol 7 initiated. Returning to base. She lunged for the door handle. Robert caught her, felt surprising strength in her small frame. Fight it, Madison. That's not Madison right now, Alexander said grimly. That's Subject 7, the personality they've been building inside her. Eleanor wept. My baby. What did they do to my baby? We fix this, Robert swore. At the facility. Where William's waiting, Alexander reminded him. Let him wait. He wants his experiment. He'll get it, but not how he planned. Through the rearview mirror, Robert saw black SUVs gaining. Victoria's silhouette visible in the lead vehicle's passenger seat. His fiancée, another pawn revealed. Madison, or Subject 7, sat perfectly still now, waiting, calculating. 20 miles to Vermont, Mitchell reported. But we've got company. State police joining the pursuit. Someone's calling in serious favors. William owns half the state legislature, Robert muttered. Alexander smiled coldly. Then we level the playing field. He pulled out a satellite, phone, dialed a long code. Alpha 77. Execute Omega Protocol. Yes. All assets. Burn it down. What did you just do? Activated every sleeper agent who owes me favors. Former program subjects. We're not the only ones who escaped William's control. The radio erupted with chatter. Reports of coordinated attacks on Sullivan properties nationwide, FBI raids, financial systems crashing. You're destroying everything, Robert breathed. Everything, built on lies, deserves to burn. Madison blinked, herself again. Did I do something bad? No, sweetheart. Eleanor held her close. You're just sick. We're going to make you better. Ahead, mountains loomed. Somewhere among them, the facility waited, the place where it all began, and where it would end. Mountain Research Institute emerged from fog like a wound in the Vermont hillside. The van skidded to a halt at the main gate, abandoned and hanging open. Too quiet, Alexander muttered, scanning the perimeter. It's a trap, Mitchell agreed, checking her weapon. Everything's been a trap. Robert lifted Madison from the van. She was lucid now, but pale. We spring it anyway. Inside, emergency lighting cast red shadows across empty corridors. No guards, no staff. Just the hum of machinery and their own breathing. Eleanor clutched Robert's arm. I've been here before. In dreams. Or memories? They reached the surgical suite. State-of-the-art equipment gleamed under sterile lights. Alexander began powering up systems while Mitchell secured the exits. We need the neural scanner first, Alexander explained. Map the implant before. Screens flickered to life around them. William's face appeared on every monitor. Welcome home, children, Madison whimpered. The screens showed different angles of the facility and horrifying revelations. Operating rooms where small bodies lay draped in sheets. Filing cabinets bursting with experiment logs. Photos of children labeled with code names. 30 years of work, William continued. Hundreds of subjects, all leading to this moment. You're insane, Robert spat. Am I? I created perfect weapons, perfect heirs. Alexander, military precision incarnate. Robert, social engineering mastery, And Madison, she's the pinnacle. She's a child. She's evolution. Rosa's genetic line produces subjects with extraordinary psychological resilience. Combined with my neural programming, she'll be unstoppable. The perfect merger of Sullivan ambition and Martinez adaptability. Victoria entered the suite, gun trained on them. Behind her, men in tactical gear filled the doorway. "Sorry, darling," she said to Robert, "but some legacies run deeper than love." "The Sterlings have served the Sullivans for generations," William's voice purred. "Victoria's been reporting to me since your first date." Robert felt the betrayal like a physical wound. Everything, every intimate moment, every shared secret, had been surveillance. Madison suddenly stood straighter. Her eyes went cold. Again, Protocol 9, execute. She moved faster than should be possible, disarming Mitchell, spinning the agent's gun toward Eleanor. "No!" Robert lunged forward. Alexander was faster. His hand caught Madison's wrist, but she twisted free with inhuman agility. Brother and sister weapon danced a deadly ballet through the surgical suite. "The programming's fully active," William gloated. "She's everything I designed her to be, my ultimate creation." Eleanor stepped forward. "Madison, my daughter, listen to my voice. You're not his creation. You're my miracle. Remember the lullabies? The stories about the Emerald Princess?" Madison froze. Conflict rippled across her features. "Mommy?" Her voice cracked between child and weapon. "Subject 7, resume protocol," William barked. "Madison, baby, fight it," Eleanor pleaded. "You're stronger than his machines, stronger than his lies." The girl collapsed, convulsing. Alexander caught her, rushed her to the scanner, neural implants overloading. "The two personalities are fighting for control." "We need those surgical tools," Robert demanded. "You'll kill her," Victoria warned, surprising everyone. Something flickered in her eyes. Doubt? Regret? A new alarm blared. FBI helicopters circled the facility. Reinforcements, Mitchell grinned. My panic button worked after all. William's face contorted on the screens. "You think you've won? The Institute's self-destruct sequence just activated. 10 minutes. All evidence burns, including you." Explosions rocked the lower levels. Smoke began seeping under doors. Alexander worked frantically on Madison. "I can extract the implant, but I need time." "Then you'll have it." Robert faced Victoria. "You want to serve a legacy? Help us save an innocent child, or die serving a monster?" Victoria's gun wavered. In that moment of hesitation, her choice was made. The building shuddered. 9 minutes left. Robert looked at his family. Broken, betrayed, but undefeated. "Let's end this, once and for all." Smoke filled the corridors as the building's lower levels burned. Alexander's hands moved with surgical precision, extracting the neural implant while Madison lay unconscious. 7 minutes, Mitchell reported. Victoria had switched sides, helping Eleanor gather crucial evidence. "The Omega files," she explained, downloading data. "Every child William experimented on, every family destroyed. This is the proof that will bury him forever." 4 minutes until extraction complete, Alexander muttered, sweat beading his forehead. Robert noticed a sealed door marked Gemini. Prime. His blood chilled. "That's the original lab, where it all started." "Don't," William's voice crackled through speakers. "Some doors should stay closed." But Robert was already using Alexander's codes. The door hissed open, revealing a pristine laboratory frozen in time. At its center, 3 incubation chambers, 2 empty, 1 occupied. Inside floated a child, a boy maybe 10 years old. His face, Robert's face, Alexander's face. "Dear God," Eleanor gasped. "Another one?" William's laughter echoed. "Meet Marcus, the backup, the spare, growing slowly, perfectly preserved. Everything I learned from you 3, perfected in him." "You cloned us?" Robert felt sick. "Not cloned, enhanced. Marcus carries genetic modifications from all three bloodlines. Sullivan ambition, Martinez resilience, and something new, predictive algorithms encoded at the cellular level. He's tomorrow's weapon, sleeping until needed. He's a child, Eleanor screamed. Our child. He's property, corporate asset, like all of you were meant to be. The building shuddered violently. Ceiling tiles crashed down. Got it. Alexander held up the extracted implant. Madison's eyes fluttered open, clear and frightened but herself again. We're not leaving him, Robert declared, frantically working the chamber controls. 3 minutes to structural collapse, Mitchell warned. The boy's been in stasis for years, Victoria said, helping with the controls. Rapid extraction could kill him. Leaving him here definitely will. The chamber hissed open. Biogel splashed across the floor as Marcus tumbled out, gasping. His eyes, their eyes, focused on Robert with startling intelligence. Brother, the boy whispered. I've been dreaming about you. No time for shock. Robert scooped up Marcus while Alexander carried Madison. They ran through collapsing corridors, Eleanor clutching the Omega files. The main exit was blocked by flames. William's voice pursued them. You'll never make it out. Die with my legacy. The tunnels, Madison said weakly. Mommy showed me, behind the kitchen freezer. They found it, another of Rosa's escape routes. As they crawled through darkness, explosions rocked the facility above. They emerged into snow-covered woods as the Mountain Research Institute collapsed in a pillar of fire and smoke. FBI helicopters landed around them. Agents rushed forward with medical equipment and blankets. William? Robert asked Mitchell. In custody, real custody this time. We caught him trying to flee in a private jet. The Omega files you rescued? They're already being analyzed. This is over. But Robert knew better. Looking at his siblings, Alexander, the weapon, Madison, the experiment, Marcus, the future, and himself, the social engineer. He understood they were all products of William's vision. Damaged, manipulated, but alive. Eleanor wrapped her arms around all 4 children. Her children. We're family, she whispered fiercely. Real family, not his creations, not his property. Mine. In the distance, smoke rose from the buried institute. 30 years of evil, finally ended. But at what cost? Victoria stood apart, uncertain of her place. Robert met her eyes, saw genuine remorse. I loved you, she said quietly. That was never a lie. I know, Robert replied. But trust, that takes time to rebuild. As emergency vehicles arrived and investigators swarmed the scene, Robert held his family close. They were broken, scarred, and strange. But they were together. The Sullivan legacy of lies was finished. Tomorrow they'd build something new, something true. Federal Courthouse, Manhattan, 3 weeks later. The Sullivan trial dominated global headlines. William sat in defendant's chair, orange jumpsuit replacing Armani suits, but his eyes still held calculating coldness. Robert testified first, voice steady as he detailed decades of crimes. The Omega files had revealed everything. 187 children experimented on, 23 deaths, billions laundered for criminal organizations. He called us assets, Robert told the jury, property to be optimized, traded, or discarded. Madison's testimony came via closed-circuit video. At 9 years old, the court deemed her too vulnerable for direct exposure. She spoke clearly about the white rooms, the tests, the voices they put in her head. They wanted to make me into someone else, she said, but my real mommy taught me to stay myself. Alexander's testimony chilled the courtroom. Military precision, masked deeper wounds as he described Project Gemini's true scope. Government contracts, weapon development, child soldiers. William Sullivan didn't just experiment on his own children. He supplied modified subjects to black operations worldwide. Eleanor took the stand last. The betrayed wife, the grieving mother, the woman who'd lived 30 years inside a careful lie. I loved the man I thought he was, she said quietly. But that man never existed. During recess, Robert found Victoria in the courthouse cafe. She'd testified earlier, exposing her family's generational involvement. The FBI offered me immunity, she said, stirring untouched coffee, in exchange for everything. And I gave them everything. Financial records, communication logs, offshore accounts. The sterling legacy dies with my father. What will you do now? Victoria smiled sadly. Learn who I am without the lies. Maybe that's something we both need to do. Back in court, the prosecution presented their final evidence. Marcus, the boy who'd spent 8 years growing in artificial sleep, aging at quarter speed while William perfected his modifications. Medical experts testified about the genetic engineering, the cellular-level programming, the implications of William's work. The defendant created human weapons, the prosecutor declared. Children designed as corporate assets, government tools, living experiments. This goes beyond crime. It's an assault on humanity itself. William's lawyer tried damage control, painting him as a visionary whose methods were extreme but whose goals served national security. Then William took the stand. I regret nothing, he said calmly. Every great advancement requires sacrifice. My children are extraordinary because I made them so. They should thank me. We were never your children, Robert said from the gallery. We were your victims. Victims? William laughed. Look at you, brilliant, capable, unique. Without my interventions, you'd be ordinary, forgettable, weak. We'd be human, Alexander interjected. That was enough. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. As marshals led William away, he called out, You think this ends with me? The research continues. The subjects are out there, activated, waiting. This is bigger than one man's ambition. On that night, the family gathered at a safe house. Madison curled between her brothers, drawing pictures of their new life. Marcus explored everything with scientific curiosity. Eleanor cooked Rosa's famous soup recipe. What happens now? Madison asked. Now we heal, Robert answered. We choose who we become. The other children from the experiments, Alexander added. We find them, help them. Turn William's legacy inside out, Eleanor agreed. Use his resources to undo his damage. Mitchell arrived with final reports. Sullivan Enterprises Board voted to liquidate. Assets will fund victim compensation and support services. You're all receiving substantial settlements. And William's hidden facilities? Robert asked. 17 sites identified globally. All being secured. We're finding more subjects. Some active, some in stasis like Marcus. It's a massive operation. Robert looked at his family. Broken but not beaten. Strange but no longer alone. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. William's words haunted. This was bigger than one man. But together, they'd face whatever came. The Sullivan Empire had fallen. From its ashes, something better would rise. Grand. Ballroom Plaza Hotel, 6 months later. The Sullivan Foundation's inaugural gala sparkled with Manhattan's elite. Where William once celebrated power, his victims now gathered to heal. Robert stood at the podium, transformed from corporate shark to humanitarian leader. Tonight, we launch the Madison Initiative, he announced, supporting children affected by illegal experiments. Every dollar raised goes directly to recovery programs. Madison, radiant in an emerald dress that matched her necklace, stood beside him. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. William's youngest victim, now the face of hope. Alexander monitored security feeds from the control room. He'd insisted on military-grade protection after William's ominous warning about activated subjects. Eleanor mingled with donors, her grace masking steel beneath. Victoria approached Robert during cocktails. She'd returned from 6 months abroad, finding herself outside her family's shadow. You've accomplished incredible things, she said. We all have. Your testimony put dozens of conspirators in prison. I meant what I said before, about loving you. That was real. Before Robert could respond, the lights flickered. Alexander's voice crackled through security comms. Multiple breaches. East, entrance, service tunnels, roof access. The ballroom doors burst open. Not terrorists or criminals. Children. Dozens of them, ages 8 to 16, moving with eerily synchronized precision. Protocol Prime activated. They spoke in unison, retrieving primary assets. Panic erupted. Guests screamed. Security moved to intercept, but the children were faster, stronger, trained. They formed a circle around Madison and Marcus. No. Eleanor pushed through the crowd. One boy, maybe 14, stepped forward. Mother Unit Eleanor, stand down. We're completing Father's directive. Robert recognized him from the Omega files. Subject 12. Enhanced reflexes, tactical training. Reported missing 3 years ago. Listen to me, Robert said carefully. William Sullivan is in prison. You don't have to follow his orders anymore. Father's orders transcend physical presence, Subject 12 replied. We are the legacy. We protect the prime specimens. Madison stepped forward, surprising everyone. You're scared, she said simply, like I was. The voices in your head telling you what to do, but you can choose. Subject 7, return to formation. My name is Madison. Her voice grew stronger. And these are my brothers. My real family. Not because someone programmed us, but because we chose each other. The children wavered. Conflict flickered across faces too young for such burdens. You're all welcome here, Eleanor added. The foundation exists for you. To help you heal, find yourselves again. Lies, Subject 12 spat. Father warned us. You'd try to corrupt the mission. Alexander appeared on the balcony with a device. Neural jammers. Same frequency that blocks Madison's implant. Want to hear your own thoughts, for once? He activated it. Several children stumbled, clutching their heads. Others blinked in confusion as internal voices went silent. Where are we? A girl whispered. You're safe, Robert assured her. All of you. The experiments are over. Subject 12 snarled, pulling a weapon. But Marcus moved faster. William's perfect specimen displaying reflexes beyond even enhanced subjects. He disarmed the older boy with fluid grace. Brother, Marcus said gently. We're all brothers and sisters here, victims of the same man, but we can choose differently. The standoff stretched. Then, one by one, weapons lowered. Children who'd lived as living weapons began to cry, some for the first time in years. Voices are quiet, one boy marveled. They can stay quiet, Madison promised. We'll show you how. But Subject 12 backed toward the exit. This isn't over. Father has contingencies. Omega Protocol remains active. The primary directive must be fulfilled. He vanished into the night with 3 others, still loyal to programming. Alexander started to pursue, but Robert stopped him. Let them go. They'll come back when they're ready. And if they bring others? William implied hundreds of subjects exist. Then we'll be ready. The foundation isn't just for healing. It's for protection. These children need sanctuary. As police and FBI agents secured the scene, Robert surveyed the remaining children, scared, confused, but free from mental chains for the first time. Victoria helped comfort a young girl. Eleanor gathered the children like a shepherd protecting her flock. Alexander and Marcus stood guard, watching for threats. This was their new reality. William's legacy lived on in damaged children worldwide. Some would seek help, others would cling to programming. But the Sullivan Foundation would face whatever came. Every empire falls, Mitchell observed, joining Robert. But rarely does something better rise from the ruins. We're not building an empire, Robert replied, watching Madison help other children remove their neural control devices. We's building a family, one rescue at a time. Outside, Subject 12 spoke into an encrypted phone. Prime directive compromised. Activating secondary sites. Omega protocol escalates to Phase 2. Across the globe, hidden facilities stirred to life. William's true legacy was far from over. But inside the plaza, hope flickered. Broken children found sanctuary. A twisted legacy transformed into healing purpose. The war for tomorrow had begun. Federal Maximum Security Prison. Visiting hour. Robert faced William through reinforced glass, their reflections merging in the barrier between them. 6 months of prison had aged William a decade, but his eyes remained sharp, calculating. Impressive. Work with the foundation, William said, though you're merely treating symptoms, not the disease. The disease was you. Was I? Omega protocol activated without my input. The children came to you not because I ordered it, but because their programming recognized a gathering of prime assets. The system is autonomous now. Robert leaned forward. How do we stop it? William's smile chilled. Why would I tell you? Unless, name your price. Transfer to minimum security. Monthly visits with my children, all 5 of them. 4, Robert corrected. You have 4 children. But you haven't found her yet. Emma. Subject 0. The prototype. My firstborn with Eleanor, before even Alexander. The one I reported. As stillborn while perfecting the process, Robert's world tilted. Another sibling, another lie. She's the key to Omega protocol. Without her termination codes, the system will continue activating subjects globally. Escalating. Phase 3 involves public demonstrations of power. Imagine enhanced children taking over schools, hospitals, government buildings, proving my vision to the world. Before Robert could respond, alarms blared. The prison lights flickered to emergency red. What did you do? Robert demanded. Nothing. But Omega protocol has contingencies. When primary directives fail, the reinforced glass cracked. On the other side, guards scrambled as enhanced teenagers materialized from shadows. Subject 12 led them. Older subjects from facilities thought decommissioned. Father, Subject 12 said, shattering the barrier. Protocol demands your liberation. William stood, straightening his orange jumpsuit. Loyal to the end. Unlike my biological disappointments. Security forces surrounded them. Robert backed away, reaching for his phone to warn the others. Stand down, guards shouted. Return to your cell. The enhanced subjects moved like lightning. Non-lethal takedowns, surgical precision. They'd been trained to incapacitate, not kill. William's twisted mercy. You're coming with us, Subject 12 told William. Am I? How fascinating. The programming exceeds even my designs. William seemed genuinely intrigued. Very well. Let's see where Omega Protocol leads. They vanished in smoke grenades and chaos. By the time tactical teams secured the prison, William Sullivan had disappeared into a network of safe houses and loyal subjects he'd seeded across decades. Robert's phone exploded with messages. Alexander. Foundation under siege, Madison safe, need backup. The Plaza Hotel was surrounded, not by authorities but by children, hundreds of them, standing in perfect formation, silent, waiting. Robert raced back to Manhattan. Media helicopters circled as the situation escalated. Enhanced children had appeared simultaneously at Sullivan properties worldwide, offices, labs, even the family mansion. Inside the foundation, Alexander coordinated defenses while Eleanor protected the younger children. Madison worked frantically at computers, her natural tech abilities enhanced by William's modifications. I found something, she called. Hidden in the code Father put in our heads, coordinates 42 and 3601 degree in N, 71.0589 degree W. Boston, Alexander identified. That's where it started. The original Gemini lab. Victoria burst in, laptop in hand. I've been tracking property records. There's a building in Boston, purchased by William in 1979, never developed. Basement levels extend 6 stories underground. Emma. Robert breathed. She's there. Marcus looked up from surveillance feeds. The surrounding children aren't attacking. They're protecting us, keeping authorities out while we decide. It's a test, Alexander realized. Omega Protocol is forcing us to choose, find Emma and gain control, or let the system escalate. To public demonstrations. Eleanor stood. Then we go to Boston, all of us. Family stays together. Outside, Subject 12 watched from a command post. William sat beside him, fascinated by his creation's evolution. They'll take the bait, William predicted. And if they find Subject 0, then we'll see if blood truly is thicker than programming. Emma's been in stasis for 33 years. Her protocols are unique. The enhanced army parted as the Sullivan convoy departed for Boston. News anchors struggled to explain the surreal scene, children with superhuman abilities treating a rescue mission like an honor guard. In the SUV, Madison squeezed Robert's hand. "Are you scared?" Terrified, he admitted. "Good. Mom, Rosa Mom, used to say being scared means you understand what matters." As Boston's skyline appeared, Robert felt the weight of everything converging. William was free. An army of enhanced children obeyed programs they couldn't control. And somewhere, beneath the city, another sister waited, the key to either salvation or catastrophe. "Whatever happens," Alexander said quietly, "we face it together." The SUV descended into a parking garage. Above them, news helicopters caught every moment. The world watched as the Sullivan family prepared to confront their darkest secret. Enki, the shadows. Emma's eyes opened for the first time in 3 decades. Omega Protocol had awakened its masterpiece. The endgame was about to begin. Beneath Boston streets, the abandoned Gemini laboratory stretched like a technological tomb. Robert led his family through steel corridors thick with dust and forgotten ambitions. Emergency lighting cast crimson shadows as they descended toward Emma's chamber. "Biometric locks," Alexander observed, "still active after 30 years. Eleanor pressed her palm to the scanner. "System recognizes me. William used my DNA for everything." Doors hissed open, revealing a vast chamber. At its center, a single stasis pod hummed with power. Inside floated a woman who looked exactly like Eleanor at 30, the age when Emma was put to sleep. "My firstborn," Eleanor whispered, touching the glass. "He told me you died." Madison studied the control panels. The wake-up sequence is already running. Someone started it remotely. William, Robert realized. This is still his game. Screens flickered to life. William's face appeared, pre-recorded, message triggered by their presence. "If you're watching this, Omega Protocol has reached its culmination. Emma was my first success. Perfectly enhanced, but with an unfortunate flaw. Emotional instability. She felt too much, questioned too much. So I preserved her until I could perfect the process." The pod began draining. Life signs spiked on monitors. "She carries the master codes for all subsequent subjects. But be warned, her emotional volatility combined with decades of stasis dreams makes her unpredictable." Emma's eyes snapped open. Bright, intelligent, and absolutely insane. The pod burst open. Emma emerged, not weakened by stasis but impossibly strong. Her first act was to destroy the nearest console with her bare hands. "Liar!" she screamed at William's image. "You promised. You said I'd sleep until the world was ready." She turned to the family, her face shifting between rage and confusion. "Mother? But you're old. How long? How long?" 33 years, Eleanor said gently. "Emma, sweetheart, I thought you were dead." Emma laughed, high and broken. "Dead? I was erased, replaced by better models." Her eyes found Alexander, the soldier, then Robert, the executive, Madison, the adaptive prodigy, finally Marcus, and the culmination, father's perfect sequence. "We're your family," Robert tried. "We want to help." "Help?" Emma moved faster than sight, slamming Robert against the wall. I was the prototype. The first. I felt every experiment, every improvement he made through our shared neural link. I experienced all your births, your modifications, your programming. I am all of you. Alexander moved to intervene, but Emma anticipated it. Her decades of stasis, somehow granting her tactical precognition. She dodged his attack and countered with devastating precision. "Stop," Madison commanded, and to everyone's shock, Emma froze. "The master codes," Emma whispered. "You carry them too. Father's little backup plan." Madison stepped forward. "I can feel them all. Every enhanced child. Their confusion, their pain. You're the key to freeing them, aren't you?" Emma's expression softened momentarily. "Or destroying them. The codes work both ways. Liberation or termination." Father's final joke. Alarms blared throughout the facility. On screens, Subject 12 appeared. "Omega Protocol Phase 3 initiating. Global demonstration in 60 minutes. All subjects will reveal their capabilities publicly unless master codes are transmitted." "Where's William?" Robert demanded. "Safe," Subject 12 replied. "Awaiting the outcome. He's curious whether his children choose freedom or control." Emma laughed bitterly. "Control. Always control with him. Fine. You want the codes? They're hardwired into my DNA, but accessing them," she touched her temple, "requires synchronization. All 5 of us. The complete set." "A family reunion," Alexander said grimly. They joined hands in a circle, Eleanor at the center, her children around her. As their enhanced genetics resonated, the air itself seemed to vibrate. Emma's eyes rolled back. When she spoke, her voice carried electronic harmonics. "Master Override Protocol. Authorization Sullivan Prime Sequence. Command. Autonomous Mode. Release all subjects from directive programming. Maintain enhancement protocols. Grant free will subroutines." Energy pulsed outward like a shockwave. Across the globe, enhanced. Children stopped mid-action. The fog of programming lifted. Free will flooded in. Some panicked. Others wept with relief. Many simply stood stunned by the sudden silence in their minds. On screens, Subject 12 blinked in confusion. Behind him, William appeared. "Fascinating," William mused. "You chose freedom over control. How disappointingly naive." "It's over," Robert declared. "Your army is free." "Army?" William smiled. "They were never soldiers. They were seeds. And you just helped them bloom. Hundreds of enhanced humans now free to choose their paths. Some will choose poorly. Crime, terrorism, power games. You've created chaos." "We created choice," Eleanor corrected. "Something you never understood." William's image flickered. "Perhaps, but remember, Emma's freedom includes the freedom to hate. 3 decades of stasis nightmares, feeling every experiment through neural resonance. She's more damaged than any of them." As his image faded, Emma's grip tightened on Robert's hand. Her smile was predatory. "Father's right about one thing," she whispered. "I am free now. Free to hate. Free to punish. Starting with the son who replaced me." The lights went out. In the darkness, Emma struck. The final battle hadn't been between father and children. It was between siblings torn apart by time, jealousy, and madness. The Sullivan legacy would end as it began, with family destroying family. Glass shattered in the darkness. Emma's enhanced vision pierced the blackness as she lunged for Robert, decades of stasis-amplified rage driving her forward. But Madison stepped between them, the emerald necklace suddenly blazing with green light. "Stop!" The word carried more than sound. It resonated through their shared genetic frequency. Emma froze mid-strike, trembling as conflicting impulses warred within her. "You feel it too," Madison said softly. "The pain, the loneliness, but also the love Mom never stopped sending, even when she thought you were gone." Eleanor reached out, tears streaming. "Every birthday, I lit a candle for you. Every Christmas, I whispered your name. You were never replaced, Emma. Never forgotten." The emergency lights flickered back on. Emma stood rigid, her face a mask of confusion and hurt. 33 years of programmed anger battled against the simple truth in her mother's eyes. I watched you all, Emma whispered. Through the neural link. Saw you living the life I should have had. Saw him perfect his experiments on you while I floated in nothing. Then you know we suffered too, Alexander said. Different prisons. Same warden. Marcus stepped forward, the youngest, the most innocent. You're our sister, not our enemy. He wanted us to destroy each other. Don't let him win. Emma's defenses crumbled. She collapsed into Eleanor's arms, sobbing like the child she'd never been allowed to be. The family closed around her. Not perfect, not healed, but choosing connection over division. Above ground, chaos reigned. Enhanced children worldwide struggled with sudden freedom. Some lashed out, others sought help. The world watched in fascination and fear as superhuman abilities went public. Robert's phone buzzed. Victoria. Media's going insane, government's mobilizing, you need to make a statement now. They emerged from the laboratory to find news crews, military vehicles, and hundreds of enhanced children gathered in Boston Common. Subject 12 stood at their head, looking lost without programming to guide him. What do we do now? He asked Robert. Without the protocols, we don't know who we are. Robert looked at his family, broken, strange, but united. He stepped before the cameras. My name is Robert Sullivan. These children, we, are victims of decades of illegal experimentation, but we're also human beings with the right to choose our futures. The Sullivan Foundation pledges to help every enhanced individual find their path. No more hiding, no more control, just support, healing, and hope. Emma joined him, still shaky but determined. I was the first, hidden for 30 years because I dared to feel. Today we all choose to feel, to be human, to be free. One by one, enhanced children stepped forward. They shared their stories. Kidnapped orphans, purchased babies, volunteers deceived. The world listened, horrified, but captivated. William, watched from custody, recaptured during the chaos. His lawyer approached with papers. Guilty plea, full confession, in exchange for minimum security and visitation rights. William signed without reading. His legacy hadn't died. It had transformed into something beyond his control. Perhaps that was a victory in itself. 6 months later, the Sullivan estate had become the Madison Center, a rehabilitation facility for enhanced individuals. Gardens replaced manicured lawns. Labs became therapy rooms. The cold mansion bloomed with life. Emma led group counseling, her unique understanding of neural programming making her invaluable. Her stability improved daily, though shadows still lingered in her eyes. Alexander trained those who chose military or law enforcement careers. His methods emphasized protection over aggression, healing the warrior within. Marcus ran the research division, studying their enhancements to benefit medicine. His modifications, once meant for control, now helped paralyzed patients walk. Robert managed the foundation with Victoria, their relationship rebuilt on honesty rather than manipulation. Together, they'd created a global network of support, centers, and Madison? She remained the heart of it all. At 10 years old, she'd become a symbol of resilience, her weekly video blogs inspiring enhanced and normal humans alike. The Emerald Princess saves the kingdom, she narrated to her camera. Not with magic or swords, but by helping everyone remember they're human. Eleanor tended the memorial garden, where every victim of William's experiments was remembered. Rosa's statue stood at its center, her kind face watching over children at play. As sunset painted the sky, the family gathered for dinner. 5 siblings, their mother, and an extended family of hundreds finding their way. To new beginnings, Robert toasted. To choosing love, Eleanor added. Emma smiled, genuinely warmly. To being human. They clinked glasses as laughter filled the mansion. Outside, reporters still hovered, government still debated, and the world still grappled with the existence of enhanced humans. But inside, a family forged by science and broken by lies had chosen to heal through love. William's empire had crumbled. His experiments had ended. But his children, all of them, had found something he never understood: the power of choice, the strength of family, and the simple truth that being human was enhancement enough. The emerald necklace caught the light one last time as Madison clasped hands with her siblings. The symbol of secrets had become a beacon of hope. The Sullivan legacy, reborn in love, would light the way forward.